o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. Before we turn it over to our presenter today, just a few housekeeping procedures. We are recording this session today, so if you need to refer back to it or would like to share it with your colleagues who are not able to join, it will be available on our YouTube channel later this week. If you're not actively asking a question, please stay on mute, as that will interrupt the presentation. Please avoid hitting the share screen button, as that will also interrupt the presentation. If and when you have questions, please either go ahead and unmute yourself and jump in. You can use the raise hand feature or put the question into the chat, and I will prompt Christine as needed. If you have any technical issues, put those into the chat too, and I'll do my best to help you through those. Just be aware that most of the time those issues stem from your own Wi-Fi connections. And finally, if anyone has dialed in via telephone today, please send me an email at mfrey@pjhq.com, and we'll get you your PDR credits. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Christine Bieber. Christine came to us through one of our PJ members and thought it would be a good webinar experience. So I'll turn it over to Christine. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here today. So just like Matt said, I was actually introduced to this by Ed Conway, who's I train his son. So thank you, Ed. I believe you are here today, part of the PGA. So my name is Christine Bieber. I graduated from Temple University with a bachelor's degree in kinesiology, specifically exercise science, and then I went on to become a NASM certified trainer, which is National Academy of Sports Medicine, and corrective exercise specialist, cancer exercise specialist, Pilates reformer instructor, and golf fitness specialist, which is why we're here today. So I used to work at Huntington Valley Country Club, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that, and a little bit at Lulu Country Club as well. So used to working with golfers, and I am very excited to help you guys today with some new tips and tricks. I also was an exercise physiologist at a physical therapy office, so a little bit of background with that as well. So we'll get started here. The first thing that I want to teach you guys, so we're going to go over, just to give a little overview, we're going to go over self-myofascial release. So these are going to be techniques and tools that are going to be great for you to do so that your muscles don't feel like they have knots in them or they're tight, and you wouldn't believe it, even if you don't, you didn't necessarily golf that day, just sitting in a desk right now, that can make your hip flexors tight, as you all know. So, and low back and all of that. So we're going to go over self-myofascial release techniques. We're going to go over dynamic stretching and the dynamic warm-up before you get onto the course. Then we're going to go over some exercises that are golf specific. Then we're going to go over injury prevention techniques. So, full day here planned. So let's start with self-myofascial release. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this before, but there are many different methods of doing this. This is a technique that you do to release your muscle fibers and not have knots so that you have better range of motion and you can improve your swing. So different techniques would be a foam roller. I'm sure some of you have heard of a foam roller. I have my friend here. Then we have a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball. So if you don't have a lacrosse ball, tennis balls are great. And then a Theragun. There's also a tool, some of you probably have noticed, it's like a hook and you can like rub it on your back, in between your scapula and your spinal cord. But yeah, so basically those are all techniques that would help out the muscle fibers. We want to do this self-myofascial release prior to a dynamic stretch. What a dynamic stretch means is it's a movement. So you're stretching while you're moving. It's not one of the stretches where you're just holding this. So I'm going to start today by showing you guys, since I have the Theragun, but obviously can't demo that, how to use a foam roller. So we're going to start here on the floor. And again, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please tell me as we go. Feel free to ask a question. So One thing that is really important, obviously, you are using your core, you are using your obliques, you're using, low back, which is really important with the rotation movements, and quadriceps, even ankle mobility is important. Thoracic spine, huge. So, starting here, I'm going to have you guys, and I do realize not everyone is able to do this, but there's different techniques. So, we're starting with the foam roller. You would leg on the foam roller, having your, I'm going to turn this sideways for you guys. Basically, having your body, your quads right on this foam roller, but it's not going to go over your knees. That's important. Don't go over your knees. You're going to be on your elbows. You're going to move forward and backward to start. Here's the goal. You want to find a spot that's like, whoa, what knot has been there for a while? And then you want to hold that for 30 to 60 seconds. So it's a trigger point. And the goal is to get rid of that. So if you're not really feeling anything, I honestly do this every single day before and after my workout. So I would highly recommend doing this, the lacrosse ball I'm about to show you, maybe the air gun, before you go out on the course. And then the dynamic stretch. That's the order of this. So you just go forward and backward. If you do not feel anything, which I would be shocked, you're going all the way up to the hips and then all the way up to the top of the knees, but not over the knees. You then go to the inner thighs and the outer thighs. This will help with your range of motion for your golf game. So that's the quads. Then we take it to the posterior muscles. So now you would sit like so, and you would have your hamstrings, so the back of your legs, on the foam roller. And this is the tricky part if anyone has shoulder issues, but again, I have other methods. You would lift yourself up and you would go forward and backward. So again, don't go over the back of your knee and just go back and forth. Most people, I would say like 80% of people, feel more in their quads than their hamstrings. But if you're sitting at a desk all day, this is also beneficial and will help you with your golf swing. So we did quads, we did hamstrings, moving on to calves. So you would do the same setup here, lift up, and just go back and forth a little bit. Now this is obviously awkward. So what I like to do is crisscross these guys. So I put one leg over the other, and you want the meatiest part of your calf on this roller. And I just do a little back and forth action here. And then I would switch legs. Again, I have a different technique. I know that's challenging. So quads, hamstrings, calves. Moving on to the glutes. So gluteus maximus, minimus, and medius. So you are going to sit on the foam roller, just like you're on a log here. And you're going to do a figure 4 with your leg. So I'm having one foot on the ground, that knee is bent, the other leg is like so. And then I'm just going to actually be on one glute, leaning towards the ground of the leg that is crossed over. This is crucial before you go out on the course. This is going to help immensely. So you just slowly roll back and forth and you just try to find a spot. You're like, oh man, I really feel that. The more you're leaning towards the ground, the more you're going to find a spot. So then same thing, you would do the same thing on the other side. So then we do low back. You just slowly go down a little bit and up. So for this one, I don't go too high up on my back. I'm just focusing on my lumbar spine right now, which is not protected by the rib cage and gets a lot of rotational movements while we're golfing. So just a little bit back and forth here. In general, each of those like body parts that we just did should be about a minute long. So fun fact, if you are over 55 years old, you would need to do at least 60 seconds. So if you are 30s, 40s, under 55, you could do 30 seconds. It takes the body longer to realize, oh, this is what we're doing the older we get. So that is the one. Those are the few there. And the next one, I think you guys might really like this. This is 36 inches. So you would need a long foam roller. Something that's 24 inches is not going to Not going to do it with this guy. We are going to be getting the shoulders on this. So really, really important here. You're going to lift up and put your tailbone on the very edge of this foam roller. From here, you're just going to lay back, and you want your spinal cord to be on, like you're lined up, your vertebrae is on this foam roller. So your head is nicely on it. You're going to take your arms here and inhale. And on your exhale, you're going to open up. Now, I understand that that might be hard to get a completely lateral at shoulder height movement here. So you can always lower it a little bit. This is opening up the pecs, the chest. It's also opening up your shoulders. So really, really great here for a range of motion. So that is the foam roller. Does anybody have any questions before I move on to the lacrosse balls? No? Okay. Cool, guys. We got a quiet crew. So the next thing we have here is, so let's just say, hey, I can't really get the foam roller thing to work for some reason. It's bothering me. We would then have the option, if we did not have a Theragun, to do lacrosse ball or tennis ball. Lacrosse ball is going to be better than a tennis ball, but if you are super tight, the tennis ball is going to be nicer to you. So technically, the more firm, the better, more results you will get. However, it is okay to start with a softer ball. I'm going to start with the lacrosse ball because I do this one every day, and I tell all my golfers to do it as well. So you are going to start with the calf here. So there's a 4 spots that I do the lacrosse ball on. My calves, my feet, my glutes, and my shoulders. So all of this is going to be good for you with range of motion. And I promise we'll get to the exercise portion of things. So you would put this ball right under the medius part of your calf, and you would just slowly roll back and forth. So I have my whole butt cheek lifted here, and I'm just going forward and backward. You want to find a spot that's like, whoa, holy moly, I didn't realize I had all that tightness there. And you want to hold that for 30 to 60 seconds. Same idea, other side. Now, I know you won't be able to see my face, but just for ease here with the webinar, I'm going to have the ball here. This is for the feet. You're going to put the arch of your foot, so not the ball of your foot or the heel of your foot, the middle of your foot, on the ball, and you're going to roll this back and forth. This is going to, ironically, this is going to help your low back. So this little simple movement here, just going a little bit back and forth, just putting pressure. You can even hold it in place. That's fine. Just doing this on your feet is going to be huge for you feeling better with all of the walking, your ankle mobility during your swing. That little trick is crazy. So, all right, we did calves, we did feet. Now we are going to go to glutes, and then we'll end with shoulders. So we get our ball, and kind of same idea with the foam roller. You want to do that figure 4 with the legs. So we'll have the head down. You're going to start with the figure 4. And then pushing off that one leg, you're going to put that ball under one of your glutes. In this position, you will probably, if you have not done this before, feel this immediately. Now, we don't want this ball on a bone. We want this on a muscle. So put it towards the outside, upper outside of your glute. You're going to slowly just roll a little bit back and forth. Same idea. You want to find a spot that you really feel it, and then you want to hold it for 30 to 60 seconds. Now, there could be multiple spots with this. You want to do the same thing on the other side after this. I know I'm taking a lot of time because I'm trying to teach you guys, but like this whole process, whether you choose the lacrosse ball or the foam roller, because it's one or the other, you don't have to do both. That's like 3 to 5 minutes. Like this is a quick and easy, I got to go on the course. Let me just do myself my myofascial release, and then I'll do my dynamic stretching and I'll be ready to rumble. So the static stretching doesn't come till after you have played. So yeah, I know this sounds like, oh my God, I don't have time to do a 20-minute thing before I go out on the course. It doesn't have to be like that. So now we did the glutes. Does anybody have questions on the glutes? with the lacrosse ball.
We had one question that came in and asked if you like the foam rollers with the nubs.
Oh my God, I can't stand them. Great question. All right, so here's the issue. First of all, they're fine. They're not bad for you. They're fine. It's a good question. I personally think they're too intense. I don't like them because I also haven't found one that's 36 inches. They're usually like tinier, but I'm sure you could get one. I just feel like unless you've been doing this for years, it's a little too harsh. It's a little intense. That was a really good question. Yeah, I prefer this one. Got it on Amazon. You could easily get it at Dick's or Modell's. But yeah, there's different. That's a good question too. There's also ones that are softer, ones that are firmer. You do want it to be firmer because if it's softer, you're not necessarily getting the most bang for your buck there. With that being said, just like the option of the tennis ball here, if you're just starting, this might be, oh my gosh, this hurts so badly. I don't even want to do this. So if it's nothing, I'd rather you do a softer one. But oh my God, the ones with those divots are, yeah, that's a doozy. So good question. Keep the questions coming. I love questions. So yeah, so that's that. So we did the glutes, and now we are going to move to the shoulders. So this is a little bit tricky. You are more than welcome to do this with a pillow if you have any neck issues. You could also do it without a pillow. It doesn't matter either way. What you're gonna do, and you guys can't really see this, you're gonna take this lacrosse ball. You're going to put it anywhere between your shoulder blade and your vertebrae. So it doesn't matter, as long as it's not directly over your shoulder blade, which is right here, or your vertebrae. You do not want this to go over your vertebrae. So this is not like the foam roller where we laid on it. You're going to put in that little tiny gap here, and you're going to lay on it. And then you're going to, I like to actually just kind of slowly roll back and forth. So I am lifting my butt up to kind of get some leverage here. And sometimes if you want to make it harder, so the pillow's not really working for me, but it might be good if you have neck issues. I like to start at my trap, so my trapezius, which is like a home plate shape on your back. So it starts at your neck, goes out to your shoulders, and middle cervical spine. So basically you're going to go up and down slowly. Same idea. You guys will probably really feel this, especially if you have any type of rounded shoulders or kyphotic curvature. This is really good, not just for golf, but like on a daily basis. This would be beneficial for you. So yeah, so you would do both shoulders. Again, just to be clear, it's going to be the top of the trap all the way down. I would stop about here. You can see, yeah, you can see me. Okay. So it'd be here, all the way down. We avoid the vertebrae in the middle, and we avoid the shoulder blade. You could also do your lats, but that's for another day. That gets involved. All right. Recap in case you're taking notes. Self-myofascial release, Theragun, foam roller, lacrosse ball or tennis ball. This is prior to going out, and especially more importantly, when you are done golfing, so that the lactic acid doesn't build up. And it can't be like I had to talk with my friend for 15 minutes and I'm going to do this. The sooner the better. So I get done a walk and I throw myself in this foam roller immediately. So we have foam roller was calves, then we did hamstrings, quads, glutes, low back, and then the thoracic spine opener. Then lacrosse ball, tennis ball. We did the feet, we did the calves, we did the glutes and the back. All right, so we're moving on a little bit here. Anybody have any questions with that stuff? Because we're going to get to a little dynamic stretch before you go out on the course. No questions?
Nothing yet.
Okay, cool. All right, so that was all to increase range of motion. So now I'm going to show you a dynamic stretch that I do with all my clients. So I start with arm hugs. And there's different like ways of doing this. You could go up and down. Basically, you just want to get the arms loose and limber. If this movement, you have any rotator cuff issues, don't go overhead with that. So you would just keep it here and in and out. So I do this about 20 times, back and forth. Then I do an overhead side bend. So watch this. I'm going to put one hand on my hip. My feet are hip width. My knees are soft. They're slightly bent. I'm going to go over and I'm just going to stretch out the side of my hip here. Slowly coming back in, I'm going to do the other side. So because this isn't static, because sometimes if you do static stretching prior to the movement, which would be golf, you could actually pull muscles because you're too cold. So you want to keep it dynamic because you want it to be moving so that you're telling your muscles, hey, we're about to work here. I need you to get ready. So overhead side stretches. Then I like to go to toy soldiers. So this is just straight leg, opposite side coming out, opposite hand. You don't even have to touch your hip. But basically that's the gist of it. This stretches your hamstrings and your calves out. So I like to do this. Then I like to do hip openers, especially for golfers. Super important. So you are going to be balancing on one leg. You're going to take the other knee. You're going to kind of do a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of a crossover and then come out and back down. Then I like to switch and do the other side. So right now we're going out and around, out and around. Once you get used to this, it's going to look like this. You could be talking to your friend like, hey, Joe, how was your weekend? What's going on? And, you're just doing all this before you get out there. Then I like to go up and in. So again, probably like 10 to 20 reps on this one. You're just trying to get loose and limber so that you're not cold going out there. Then I like to do some squats. So I just want to tell my low back, hey, core's got to be engaged. I engage my core. And again, this is the warm up. So don't have to get crazy with this, but sometimes I just do a little bit going down, sitting back. The knees don't come over the toes too much. My core is tight. My back is neutral. So I'm not arching it, but I'm not rounding it. And to help that, it's kind of engaging your core is like a safety belt for your back. So that's how you're going to make that happen. And up and down just a little bit. Got it. Cool. So with this being said, obviously, you might look a little bit crazy doing all this stuff on my course, but there's also exercises. I do recommend that. I think that'd be good. That is only like 5 minutes. That's not a long 3 to 5 minutes. Like, just tell your body you're about to move. Next one is dynamic stretches with your golf club. So you would take your club, you would put it on your shoulders, and you would have your palms facing out. So from here, you're going to do spinal rotation. So again, we talked about that thoracic spine with the foam roller. Now this is a dynamic stretch with that. So just engage your core, go over a little bit, go over the other way a little bit. You will feel this in your low back. It should feel like a good stretch, not painful. You want your knees to be slightly bent. You want your core to be engaged, and you do not, if you're coming from like a stressful meeting or something, don't do any of these stretches with your shoulders up in your ears. So you want to keep those shoulders down, going back and forth. So that is the one thing. The other one is side bends. Over and then other side. So you guys probably all know this. They're pretty basic. The other one would be straight arms, and we can do the side bends, kind of like the dynamic stretch, just side to side. Now, leg swings. We can do all 4 directions here. So I like to, let me just give you some space here. I hold on to the club and I go back and forth. And I open up those hips. So just like the hip openers, we're getting more hip action here. And a little balance. So I do that with that one. I also do it with the other one. Forward and backwards. Then, I'm sure you guys all know this, side to side, inner and outer thighs, which is great because we just did the foam rolling and the lacrosse ball stuff. So we don't really feel that many knots. And now we're just saying, hey, ready to rumble here. So then after the leg swings, and again, the order of this stuff doesn't necessarily matter. This is just how I do it. You would have the club in front of you. You're holding on to it. I want you to take a split stance, side to side, inner thighs. So again, this is dynamic. So we're not going to hold this for like 30 to 60 seconds. We're just going to go back and forth. I am sitting back, like I'm sitting my butt on a picnic table, kind of like that squat. So if you're used to doing side lunges, You know the feet are parallel and the knee is tracking over the shoelaces. And you're just sitting the one butt cheek back. Here we go. All right, so we got the adductors ready to rumble. Lunge with a rotation is next. So we take this club, we have this at the chest, we come forward. Okay, you can't really see me. You come forward with one step, keeping the legs parallel. You bend both knees and you rotate towards the leg that is out in front of you. Come back to center, push off. Other side, bend, rotate, come back in. I would do about 10 to 20 of those. 10 on each side would be good. Just need a quick water break here. So, next one, hamstring stretch. You could easily actually do this right from the first shoulder ones that you did, but after doing all the other leg stuff, I like to do it once I'm warmed up a little bit, just so I don't pull anything. So again, dynamic, but we're going to go down into a hip hinge here. An exercise we're going to get to that's really important for golf is actually deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts. So this is the same exact movement that you'd be doing to do this. Also known as like good mornings, similar, if you guys have heard of that. So you're just going to sit back, the knees stay over the ankles, my back is flat, my core is engaged. I do a bunch of these. You don't want to do this guy where you're touching your toes and hanging out, stretching the hamstrings when you haven't really done any movement. So I would do all that at the end of golf. Figure eights, last but not least. And again, all this is like 5 minutes. Don't spend a ton of time. So we're going with the club, figure eights, just loosening up the shoulders here. So just making the shape of a horizontal 8 here. Up and back. And you're just feeling your arms a little bit. The knees are soft, the feet are hip width. Alrighty. So that's that. We did self-myofascial release, dynamic stretching for the warm-up, the dynamic stretches with the golf club. And again, that is all before you get on the course. Now we are moving on to the actual exercises that will benefit your golf game. We will end with the injury prevention. So first exercise that's crucial, excuse me, I'm a big water drinker, which you should be too. Torso rotations. So torso rotations are obviously important because you want to mimic whatever exercises you're doing. You want to be able to explain, oh, this is why this is helping my golf game because it's working this muscle and I use this muscle while I play golf. So just like the stretching or beforehand, like taking some swings, that's going to be really important because you want to prep your body for the movement you're going to do, which I know you guys already do all that. So torso rotations, you could do this with a cable machine or with a band in the door. So I'm going to show you, and this stuff would be stuff you do at home. This isn't on the course. Or if you have a gym at the place that you're at, that would be good. So you get a long band, resistance band, so stretchy. You put a knot in the middle of it, and you put that in a door. So you would just kind of, it's tricky, but you throw it into the door, close the door over, and then I drop one side of it. I have my arms like this, and I would rotate. So I'm pulling the resistance band that is half in the door, and I have my hands on top of each other, and I'm rotating. I'm also going to be pivoting this back foot a little bit. So I'm here, my core is super tight, my shoulders are down, my arms are straight with a soft bend in my elbows. So that is the movement that we need. That's going to strengthen your obliques, transverse abdominis, all the muscles that you're going to be using during the rotation. Also your low back, which is important. So you would do that in both directions. The same thing, we're doing a little bit of a pivot on that back foot, and that's important. You could easily do this with a cable machine. So you would just take the cable machine, you would hook up a handle to it, and you'd put the cable machine in the middle of, like, I would say probably your shoulder height would be smart. Same idea, you're rotating over. Okay, so I would do about 10 reps each direction on that one. Number one, that was torso rotations. Number two, single leg balance with a rotation. So let me grab my little weight here. You can do the single leg balance with the torso rotation with a golf club or a dumbbell. So what I like to do is stand on one leg, balancing. The other leg is going to be out in front of me. And I am simply going to go from side to side. So it's so funny because I'm sure this looks super easy, but it's actually not. So you have to engage your core. You have to have a slight bend in your stabilizing leg, keeping your shoulders down and back. And then you have the other foot hovering. I would do a total of 20 reps for this. Same idea. We're strengthening the low back. We're strengthening the core. Then we switch. Then we have the right knee slightly bent, keeping the weight at chest height. So I am holding the weight like this, okay? If I were to use my golf club, I would be doing it like this. You could also do it like this. But all you want is to get that rotation in and balance. So the balance is going to be really important for you as well. So 10 reps each way. Number 3, Romanian deadlift. I know we went over this earlier. So with the hip hinge for the dynamic stretching with the golf club. So this is one of my favorite exercises, but if you do it incorrectly, you will hurt your back. So I'm going to go over all of the form here. Some of you probably already do this or already know of this, but I'm only using 4-pound dumbbells for demonstration purposes. You could definitely do heavier weights if you felt comfortable with this. I always suggest starting with less weight and then working your way up. So I work with a lot of clients who are 55 plus. So they're not doing 10-pound dumbbells necessarily out the gate. Nothing wrong with that. So feet hip width, knees slightly bent. You'll have the weights in front of you, so your palms face your thighs. Core engaged, shoulders down and back. So you want to think of your back as like a table. You're serving food and you're going to hinge at your hips. Your knees are not going anywhere. They're over your ankles. You're slowly going down. And I push my butt back, which is why I got that range of motion. And as I come up, I squeeze my glutes as hard as I can, keeping my shoulders down and back. So again, we inhale here. And we exhale on the movement. You always exhale on the movement. So we hinge. And my knees aren't actively bending. I'm just sitting back. So that is a really important exercise for golf, Romanian deadlifts. You could also actually do this single legs once you get more advanced with this. So same idea. One leg's in front of you, slightly bent knee. Other foot's behind for balance, parallel. And we're just hinging at the hip here. As I'm sure you already know, it is a lot more challenging to do this with one leg than when they were both next to each other. So that would be a progression. Second to last exercise is sidestepping with a resistance band. I do this one all the time. I give this to a lot of my clients. This is really important. You will take a little mini circle band, and all you're going to do is put this around, again, the medius part of your calf. You could also have this band above your knees. That is going to target your glutes a little bit more. So this is going to be targeting your IT band. It's a win-win. You need all of those muscles to golf. So maybe on one day you do it where the band's around the calves. Another day you do it where the band is then above the ankles. I can demo both. So we're here. You're going to have your feet hip width. You're hinging at the hips a little bit, but it's not a real deal squat. And the core is engaged. You're going to go over. It's small because we're not moving the upper body at all. Come back to hip width. Over. Come back to hip width. So upper body is stable. Again, I have my neutral spine. I'm not arching my back. I'm not rounding my back. My core is engaged, which is helping me. Over, hip width, over, hip width. I usually do, just for like camera sake, so you guys can see me. I'm not going as far as I normally would, but I usually do like 5 steps to the right, 5 steps to the left. Repeat that twice. I will do sets of this. So I usually do about 3 sets of this. That is that. Last but not least, oh, I did tell you guys I was going to do it above the knees. It's exactly what it sounds like, but just so you know what it looks like. It is above my knees. feet hip width, over, hip width. You see this as a small movement. I want to keep my knees over my ankles. I see a lot of people with weak glutes and their knees cave in. Nope, that's not great. Although that Romanian deadlift will also help strengthen those muscles so this doesn't happen during your side step. So we're going to go over, hip width. Honestly, I think that when it's on the calves, it's a lot harder. So that is that. Again, both great for you. Planks. All right. Grabbing water for this one. Does anyone have any questions before I show the last exercise?
Nothing yet.
All right, cool. All right, so I'll bring you guys down to the floor again. And we are going to show the planks. I like to get a knee pad here. I realize I sound like I'm in my 70s, but I'm all about protecting those joints. So it's never too early to start. Here we go. I'm going to show you how to do a plank and the way I want you to do it if you're not used to doing it, or if you have any shoulder injuries. So we have options here. You are going to have your knees hip width. We're going to start with a modified plank. So I have my knees hip width on my mat. And this is if I did not have shoulder or wrist injuries. You will have your wrist under your shoulders and your feet up. So you can see my feet are up. I have my hips down. You want to get that sweet spot where you're like, oh, wow, I really feel this in my lower abdomen and not my low back. If you're doing a plank and you feel it in your low back, it is wrong. You do not want to keep pushing through that. A lot of people cannot do this and it's uncomfortable. So you have options. You could, I have like the perfect push-up things here. So they look like this just so you can see. Okay. And they go here. And you could just hold on to that. It helps the wrist. You could also hold on to dumbbells or just go to your elbows. So elbows under shoulders, same idea. If you wanted to do a full plank, you'd have your feet either hip width or touching, elbows under the shoulders. Same idea. You want to do all the way up, that is great as well. Straight arm is harder than bent elbow. Think of a torque. The lesser the torque, the less pressure. Win-win though. Still, you're still doing a plank. It's still great. So that would be good. So I know, time's sake, I don't want to drag you guys on. I know you have stuff to do on your Wednesday here. All right, so we did the exercises, and now I'm wrapping up with the injury prevention techniques. So some of this is just a recap, and some of it's new. So dynamic warm-up will be the first thing for injury prevention. So that is that like demo that I did with the hip openers, toy soldiers. It is really important to do that dynamic warm-up. So whether you do that with the golf club, got my band on top of this, or you do it just with your body, it's a win-win. You want to do it though. 5 to 10 minutes. Then thoracic spine mobility, which I'm going to show you a couple of things. That's going to be done daily for your golf game. Strengthening your glutes. We already went over some of that. Strengthening your core. I will demo a couple exercises. Improving hip mobility. That's number 5. Don't overswing. So focus on smooth tempo, proper sequencing, letting your hips lead, not your arms. And then gradually increasing the volume. So avoid sudden increase in the number of balls hit. You basically want to take it at your own pace. Maintain shoulder blade strength. Obviously, we went over that. And recovery techniques, which was the self-myofascial release, foam rolling, and light stretching. So just to go over the thoracic spine mobility, I'm going to show you something called book openers, which is really important. Matt, stop me whenever you need to. I'm going to try to just choose the most important things here because obviously I'm a talker.
You're good.
Okay, cool. We don't have a ton of questions, so I guess that helps. And if anyone's got to go, I understand. So here we go. We will go to the thoracic spine mobility with book openers. I'm going to turn this camera sideways. I've got all kinds of pillows and gadgets around me. You will lay on your side and you will have your knees stacked and your feet stacked. This is a 90-degree angle. You're going to have your head down, your arm out, your bottom arm out, your palm is facing the sky. Other hand is on top of that. We're going to take a big inhale here. And on our exhale, you're going to slowly open up. Now, I understand if you cannot touch the floor with this, that is fine. You just go where you can. If you want to feel this more, if for some reason you don't already feel this a lot, you can straighten your leg. There are 2 ways of doing this. You can do this dynamically, where you're doing like 5 reps on each side with your head down. You could also have a pillow under your head. Or you could do this and hold it for 30 to 60 seconds at the end of golf. So you would do that on both sides. Does anyone have any questions with the book openers? We're good? Okay. So then child's pose is really good. So you have your knees hip width and you're sitting on your heels. And you're just going to have your arms straight out. And you're getting your low back stretched here. So if some of you like taking yoga or Pilates, I'm sure you've seen this move. Really great for the back. For golf, though, something called thread the needle is going to be important for you. So you're going to have the head down, one arm stays straight, take the other arm underneath, and you're going to have that palm facing the sky. Have your head down. I'm currently stretching my left arm. So this is good. If I know I'm overly flexible, if this is too much, you could come up a little bit and you wouldn't necessarily have to feel it as much. Same idea, other side as always. So we went over the foam roller, thoracic spine, cat cow. All right, so you're on your hands and knees in a tabletop. You want to inhale, arch your back, exhale, round your back. Do it again. Inhale, arch, exhale, round. I do that about 10 to 20 times. That one's really going to help you guys with your low back and your core. And then 2 more things for daily stretches here. A little bit of thoracic spine action. So I'm going to have you do knee to chest. So all that means is you keep one leg down and you bring one knee into your chest. You would hold this for about 30 seconds. This is done after golfing or whatever. Like if you want to do these in the morning, whatever you want. But these will really help you. If that's easy, you would do both at the same time. Last but not least, on your daily stretches, feet together, knees together. This is called lower trunk rotation. Think of a clock. We're going with the knees, keeping them together. 2 o'clock, then to 10 o'clock. So we have core stability here, a little bit of core engagement, and you will feel a stretch on each side of your lower back, depending on which way your knees are going. Hands are just down at your sides, head is down. All right, that's that. Glutes, my favorite. Bridges. So, best glute exercises for golf. Normal bridges with both legs, single leg bridges, and step ups. Those are my 3 top faves. So, also Romanian deadlifts, obviously. But that's hamstrings as well. So, bridges, feet hip width, core engaged. You take a big inhale before you set up your movement. And on your movement, you exhale. So we just bring the glutes up. Now, here's the deal. This is not about how high I can get my butt up in the air. This is about me keeping my core engaged and my back neutral. So I know I got a baggy shirt on here, but if you can see me right now, I'm not actually going that high because my hips are currently tight. So that is okay. And we're going to get to hip mobility next, but that is fine. You don't have to go up high. You hover the butt and you come up. Go down, hover the butt, come back up. It would be better for you to have your back neutral and happy than arched and getting it up higher. I would do about 15 to 20 reps of that. Single leg bridges, same thing. You would just do it with one leg. So you would have one leg straight out and you're going up and down with your hips. This is significantly more challenging. Do not do this. Again, small movement. You can probably barely see me moving. But the smaller the movement, the more control you will have. It is not about big, crazy movements. You see those guys lifting heavy weights in the gym. They're going way too fast, herky-jerky. They're going to hurt themselves. Slower, more controlled, safer. All right, now we've got step ups. That is exactly what it sounds like. You find a step, you go up with one leg for 30 seconds, up with the other leg for 30 seconds, leading with that leg. Let's go to core strength exercises. I'm wrapping up, I swear. Dead bugs. So here are my two top core exercises. Dead bugs and bird dogs are two of my favorites. So dead bugs are here. You're on your back. You're going to have your knees at 90 degrees, which is actually really, really tricky because once again, we don't want that low back pressed into the mat or arched. We want to find that spot, this is really challenging, where we're not doing either one of those. You need to engage your core very, very tightly here. Arms are straight up. Take a big inhale. On your exhale, you are extending opposite limbs. So right now, my left leg is coming out and my right arm is overhead. I'm going high with my leg because I know that right now my core isn't really super warmed up because I didn't get to work out this morning. So I do know that if I go higher, it's going to put less pressure on my low back. The lower I'm going with that leg, the more it's going to throw me out of a neutral spine and I'm going to hurt my back. So slow and steady here. You would do about 20 reps total. If you're like, oh my goodness, I have arm issues, I have shoulder issues, that's not gonna feel great. Keep your head down or up. You can do either one. It will be easier on your back if your head is up, but it could hurt your neck. So you go out and in, out and in. Great to strengthen those hip flexors and your quadriceps, which are muscles you're gonna use during golf. Bird dog. Tabletop. Same idea, contralateral movement here. Shoulders down and back, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Take a deep breath, knees are apart. Inhale here, on your exhale, opposite arm, opposite leg. Come back in because I almost kicked something. Inhale here, exhale, opposite side. So we're pretending we have a glass of wine on our low back. We're not gonna hip hike it. We're not gonna do any arching or rounding there. It's not like a cat cow where we're stretching. So that's a bird dog. All right. Hip mobility. This is probably one of the last things here. Hip flexor stretch. I like to, you know what? This is going to make more sense if I turn this. I like to do something called a half kneeling stretch for golf. In fact, I'm going to bring my buddy with me. So you would have one knee under the hip. The other foot is out in front of you. So obviously you see why we call it a half kneeling stretch. We have the ankle under the knee. We have this knee under the hip. We are going to feel this probably immediately in the left hip flexor right now. If for some reason you don't, or you want to get a little bit more of a stretch, you would just engage your core and lean back slightly. Another good option is taking a big inhale and on your exhale, going up and over with the one arm. So if you can see me this way, I'm going over the side that leg is out in front of. Same idea. I would switch sides and I would inhale here and exhale over. Always start with just the half kneeling stretch. So always start with this guy for like 20 seconds. Then, you told your body we can do more. So then that's when you would go up and over. This is going to be stretching out the obliques, lats, hip, all that good stuff. All right, hip flexor stretch we did. Quad stretch. You would have one, and these are things you do at the end of golf. So these are static stretches. One leg in, one leg behind you. So this foot's near my butt. Then I'm going, two options here. If your hips are super tight, you're going to keep this back arm straight. So it's behind me, and I'm just going to lean back. I can bend my elbow a little bit, but I'm not going to go down on it. All of my quadricep and my hip flexor are getting stretched right now. It is amazing. Pretty intensive if you're not used to doing it. If you have knee issues, you can move that foot away from your butt a little bit. You'll still feel it. If you want more, you go down on your elbow. You would do the same thing on the other side. Last but not least, something is called the world's greatest stretch. You would have one knee on a pad here, And then you would have the other leg in front of you. Your hands are on the outside or on the sides of your foot, and you're going to drop that hip down. So you're going to get this whole part of your hip here. I realize that I am flexible, and this is a lot for a lot of people. If you have kids, whatever, at your club who are in high school or college, this will be no problem for them. You could also take it to a hamstring stretch, straightening your leg, getting that calf here too with the flex foot. Same idea, other side. I get that leg in front of me. I'm going to put my arm on the outside of that and going down. You could also have the arm on the inside if you feel like you're getting more range of motion. Push it back into a hamstring stretch. So I realize I am Gumby, but those are your options. Quick recap. Injury prevention, dynamic warm-up, 5 to 10 minutes, thoracic spine mobility, book openers, thread the needle, knees to chest, lower trunk rotation. Cat-cow, strengthening the glutes, bridges, step-ups, strengthening the core, dead bugs, bird dogs. Hip mobility, hip flexor, half kneeling stretch, quad stretch, world's greatest stretch. I look like Spider-Man. Don't overswing, gradually increase your volume, maintain shoulder blade strength, and those recovery techniques that we spoke of with the self-myofascial release and foam rolling. So thank you so much, guys. I actually finally decided to stop talking. So I am, again, a personal trainer, NASM certified trainer, and golf fitness specialist. Used to work at Huntington Valley Country Club and still train a lot of golfers. I started my own business in 2024, and it is building quickly, and I love it so much. My website is Trainer Teen, so like half of Christine, so TrainerTine.com. And my cell number is 267-997-6692. My email is trainerteen@gmail.com. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, or if you have anyone you think needs some help, I am here for them. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I did. Thank you so much for having me.
That was great, Christine. Thank you so much. I just had a quick question. If you were to tell a golfer, doesn't matter what age, if they wanted to stretch for 5 or 10 minutes a day, what would be the couple of stretches you would recommend to do every day?
Are these static stretches or dynamic?
Static.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good question. So, and this is great because this is something I didn't really have time for. But I'm glad that we have time. So I'm gonna pick 3 or 4 of these guys. The first one I like is my legs straight out. I'm gonna take a big inhale here. My feet are flexed. Exhale, I'm gonna lean forward. This is getting my calves, my hamstrings, and my low back. So you want the head down. Don't have the neck in a flex position. So totally relax. In this position, go side to side and get the traps and the neck. So you kind of just like rotate side to side. So that's that. Then you will do one leg out, one leg in. Inhale here. Exhale over. So you could also just, the shin is fine. Don't feel like you have to put your head down to your knee. I know a lot of people cannot do that. Same idea, other side. Inhale here. Exhale over. We're getting the obliques and the hips here. Honestly, one of my favorites is that quad stretch that I went over. So this is like a really good one. You're bending that knee. You're going back on the elbow. I'm stretching out my whole quad here. I like to do, obviously, you work the arms when you golf. So grabbing your forearm with the one hand, you're going to slowly pull it across your chest, keeping your shoulders down and back. So I'm stretching out my tricep, my bicep, a little bit my forearm. If you want to do like wrist circles here, you definitely could. We didn't get to wrist strengthening exercises, but that would be with a 1 or 2 pound dumbbell going forward and backwards. So inhale here, exhale, pull across, same thing. Triceps overhead. Take one hand on your back, put the other hand on the elbow, and you just pull, same thing, a little bit each side. Don't go too crazy. Big one I'm a huge fan of. Well, while I'm down here real quick, get a stretching strap. You get your stretching strap, you lay down on your back. These are just a few moves here besides, and again, the book openers are a good one too. if you were to hold that. But you lay down and you keep one knee bent, straight in one leg. Well, if you were not flexible, you would hook that before you came down. But you would put that stretching strap on the ball of your foot, and you can do ankle pumps here. So you just go forward and backward with the foot, flexing and extending, and then you will hold it. So you will have a straight leg, and you will just hold that with the foot flexed. If your foot is pointed, you won't feel this much in your calf. The flexion, bringing the toes to the chest, is where you really get the most bang for your buck here. Then inhale here. And on your exhale, take this leg over a little bit, keeping that foot flexed. I'm now getting my whole IT band and my glute here. So that is really, really good. You could also do, obviously do that on both sides. You have the leg straight, you do the ankle pumps, then you take it over a little bit, get the IT band and the glutes and the hips and the calf. You can also do a piriformis stretch. So your piriformis is a muscle in your glute, deep in your glute. It's a real pain in the ass, no pun intended. Sorry, Matt, if that was not allowed. But you're going to do a figure four here. You're going to put one arm in the middle of your legs. The other arm's on the outside of the leg that's bent. And you're going to bring this in, and you're going to stretch. I'm stretching out the whole outside leg that is folded over. So that's getting something called my piriformis, which is a muscle in my glute. Slowly bring it down. All the stuff that I just showed you is 30 to 60 seconds. Same thing, other side, piriformis stretch. That would be really helpful. That lower trunk rotation side to side is good. I know it's dynamic, but you could hold that. Last but not least, real big fan of this. Something called a trapezius stretch. So what we'll do here, I'm going to stand. All right, cool. So standing up, showing you my backside, and you're going to take one arm, it's straight down. You're going to put your other hand on that forearm. So just for demo purposes here, yeah, you can see me good. My knees are bent. I'm going to have my right hand on my left forearm here. I'm going to gently, keyword gently, pull this down as I take my right ear to my right shoulder. This is crazy amazing for opening up your trapezius. You will feel this immediately. If it's too much, just don't pull down on that arm too much. That's how you make that easier. Same exact thing. I have my right arm straight. I'm going to put my left arm on that forearm. I'm going to gently pull this guy down as I take my left ear to my left shoulder. So this is great because I'm stretching out my right trap as I put my left ear to my left shoulder. Really good stuff for getting more mobility and range of motion. This is all going to help you with your golf game. So I think that was about it. You could also do a split stand, same thing. You can kind of get that hip flexor here. Bunch of different ways. One side, other side. There's also a ton of stretches you can do with a chair, but I think for time's sake, hopefully that helped you guys.
No, that was great. Thank you so much.
Good. Yeah, great question, Matt. Thank you for asking, because I was contemplating adding that in or not, and then I was like, I don't want to bore them. So
Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, well, if there aren't, Christine, thanks again. This was really informative. I think everyone got a lot out of it. And everyone, thanks for attending.
Yay, thank you guys. Thanks so much for having me. It was really fun. I hope you got a lot of information out of it and learned some stuff.